Welcome in, TNCRadio.live. That'll wake you up right there. You're listening to Clutch Time Sports. And now here are your hosts, Anderson and Banker.
Thank you, Mr. Tom Kelly. Good evening, America. All you wonderful truckers out there working hard to make sure we get the things that we need to keep this beautiful economy rolling on the highways, byways, and freeways of the United States of these Americas. And I'm sitting here in sunny California, and I do want to take a nap because we have had a very melancholy day. No sunshine. And JB, you know what California is like with no sunshine.
Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. Yeah, well, and it's been like this for the last couple of days, and so it's May gray for sure as we end the month and head towards June gloom. It's kind of a byproduct of living out here in a way. It's like it feels like we should already be breaking into summer, and then we get summer until November. So one way or another, we get it. We definitely get it good out here as far as weather is concerned, but. I still can't complain, even though it's kind of dark and gloomy out. It's still 65 degrees, 70 degrees. So it's not like it's cold. It's just kind of depressing.
Just kind of depressing.
It's just, yeah.
That was a beautiful segue into my Western Conference Finals in the NBA. It's kind of,
depressing.
Well, as you can see, the Los Angeles Lakers overperformed for putting together a team in the last 2.5 months. Nuggets swept the Lakers, 113-111. But more importantly, LeBron James showed you that he is still the king. That man put up 40 points, and 31 of the 40 came in the first 24 minutes, I must add. 10 boards and 9 assists. And unfortunately, he was out there by himself because I always say winning is a mindset. And if you don't have the right mindset and the team, you can't do anything in the NBA.
Yeah, and I agree. I think they certainly outplayed the team that they had put on the court over the last couple of months. Nobody's ever going to really say that guys like D'Angelo Russell or Rui Hachimura or Austin Reeves are superstars. But obviously Davis in the previous round against the Warriors was fantastic. But I said this last week, Nikola Jokic is on a mission. He is just flat out playing like everybody is ignoring the Denver Nuggets. And let's be honest, we are. We absolutely have ignored the Denver Nuggets. And why? Well, they're just kind of boring. There's nothing super flashy about them. They don't have LeBron James. They don't have Anthony Davis. They don't have Steph Curry. They don't have, a Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Chris Paul trio. They don't have the Clippers, drama that they have to. They just go out there and play. And we finally see them for the first time with a healthy team since the bubble.
Yes,
and the bubble,
exactly.
And the bubble threw everything off. Mm-hmm. So, at that point, the cohesiveness really wasn't there yet for Denver's younger guys, especially, let's say the Michael Porter Jr.'s of the world. Mm-hmm. And then they get in their pieces like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who I think was very underrated in this series against the Lakers. And then, of course, Jamal Murray is having his coming out party too. But Nikola Jokic, for all that has been said about, why should he be a MVP for the third year in a row? Well, he's playing like an MVP now still too, and his team is still in it, going to the Western Conference or going to the finals for this first time as an organization. So congrats to Denver.
I'm happy for them. And you're right, they're boring. They're like the Utah Jazz of the late 90s when they would go against the Chicago Bulls. And unfortunately, it doesn't do good in ratings, and sponsors want to make money, and they want eyes on the TV and whatever outlet that they can, get you hooked on. So I was going through, and I was looking at the Lakers roster, and the big talk has been 6 players that they could get rid of, that being Tristan Thompson, Troy Brown, Malik Beasley, Looney, and D'Angelo Russell. But that took second fiddle to the trade rumors that came out today, and that was done by O'Brien, or O'Connor, actually is his name. He's a writer, he's a beat writer. And one of the trade rumors that's coming out of the Warriors camp is the Warriors, not saying this is true, these are rumors. So someone has started this spark. But the Warriors are talking about putting a package together to get LeBron James. And some of the packages have been talking about Kuminga, Jordan Poole, Moody. Others have said Jordan Poole, Kuminga, and their one forward. I just lost his name, the Canadian player.
Wiggins.
So I'm like, wow, that would be pretty interesting if you add that mix to what the Lakers have right now and put LeBron James up there. And one of the articles that he wrote was saying now you'd have Steph Curry back to 30 minutes and you would have LeBron James back to 30 minutes a game.
Well, that's the best case scenario, of course.
Right.
But they are both getting up there in age and have tread on those tires. And one of the questions I was going to ask you is we kind of came on air before we actually started tonight. It is relevant to this discussion now because I read the same sort of rumors that you talked about, but I also saw the fact that, you know, among all the decisions that LeBron has to make or is contemplating at this point, because he put it out in the atmosphere at the end of the game against Denver in his presser, talking about hinting at retirement. So the question is, and the rumors are, you know, such with the Warriors, but the Cavs are also up there as a potential destination for LeBron. And it's not like he's a free agent. I mean, he's, you know, he's still in contract with the Lakers. But my question to you is, Ivan, how much stock do you put in his potential retirement at this point? Is it 1%? Is it 100%? 99%? I mean, do you think that that is an actual viability for LeBron to step down after this last series?
No, and I blame media on this, and the reason why is because we all have this push to get what are the feelings, what's your emotions immediately, and I compare this to the Richard Sherman situation where he stops that reception in the end zone, and he's just wired, and he's in that gray area that you have to play when you play professional sports, and the comment he makes rub people the wrong way. And I think when you get a guy of LeBron James caliber who just lost his opportunity to go to the NBA Finals,
They got
you're
swept.
catching him they got swept. So you're very emotionally, you're just not there. And I think when you talk to someone who's trying to get their emotions back in check, and you ask that kind of a question, I just think you're going to get a raw, this is how I'm feeling right now type of a answer. So I don't think that has any bearings. I don't think he's going to retire. Now, the Cavaliers, that could be one situation. The Miami Heat could be another situation. I think it's going to come down to what he sees, what the Lakers are going to do, and what he feels in his body. And he did say he's now reached an age where he literally has to get up in the morning and say to himself, well, how does my body feel today? How do I feel today? Things that he didn't have to do 3 and 4 years ago.
Well, and the reason I asked that question is, and my answer is, I think there's about a 1%. That 1% is what I take stock in a retirement speech. And the only reason why I even give it 1% is because he actually kind of put it out there as kind of hinting at it. But there ain't no way that LeBron, who just became the all-time leading scorer in the NBA, is going to go out after a sweep. There's just no way whatsoever. However, I do think that perhaps what that is hinting at is not retirement. It's what he wants to do with the Lakers. And that's why I think there are becoming these rumors that are being fueled for him to go to Golden State or go to Cleveland or go to Miami or wherever the case may be. I still think he wants to play with Bronny. I don't know that that's going to be happening. I mean, it feels like that's a stretch. And he's talked about that at one point. Yeah. But I do think he's just doubting the commitment of the Lakers and not the organization, but I think of his teammates.
I agree. I completely agree with you. And it's a mindset. I tell my son all the time, it's a mindset. Your talent can only take you so far. After that, it's you and your mind. And as you could see in all 4 games, LeBron James was there. He understands how to win and he knows what he needs to do to win. But when you can't get the rest of the team to be on the same mindset, it's irrelevant. And that was just a guy who was just mentally and physically exhausted.
Yeah, I agree. And we have just a little time left in this quarter, and I have to ask you this question. Is there any chance we see the Boston Celtics get back to Boston for a Game 7?
No, not at all.
You don't? Okay.
No.
Okay. Because I think they can win Game 6, or excuse me, Game 5, which is in Boston. They would have to get another win in Miami to force that Game 7. Obviously, it's daunting. It's never been done. There's never been a 3-0 comeback in any NBA series ever. But they took the first step, and that's all you have to do. So now you go back home to your home crowd for Game 5. Got to win there first, and then just see what happens in Game 6. But the fact is that 2 of the next 3 potentially are still at home for Boston.
True.
So I still think they have a puncher's chance.
Well, like I said, the mindset and Miami's mindset is we're just taking one game at a time. We lose a game, we make corrections, and I expect them to come out and punch Boston right in the face for Game 5.
Well, and that's the best. I mean, playoff Jimmy certainly needs to show up in that Game 5, because if Denver's just sitting back there waiting for whoever wins this series, the longer this goes, obviously, the more it benefits Denver.
It sure does. But, JB, we got to get to the second quarter, so we're going to take a little bit of break here. You listen to Clutch Time Sports on TNCRadio.live.
Hear the best of TNCRadio.live every night. It's TNC Radio Primetime. Interviews, music, information, and news you can use every night. 7 to 9 Eastern, 6 to 8 Central, TNC Radio Primetime.
This blog is brought to you by the Truckers Network at app.thetruckersnetwork.net. 4 simple ways to improve your physical health as a truck driver. Being a truck driver is a rewarding career. However, it's not very rewarding for your physical health. A truck driver's lifestyle makes it difficult for them to be healthy. Because of their lifestyle, truckers are more likely to develop serious health issues like obesity, high blood pressure, diabetes, and more. Although a truck driver's lifestyle doesn't promote healthy living, it doesn't mean that a truck driver cannot be healthy while on the road. There's several ways you can improve your health on the road. Here are 4 things you can start doing today to improve your physical health on the road as a truck driver. Avoid harmful foods. Avoiding unhealthy foods is way harder than it sounds. As a truck driver, your healthy food choices are extremely limited. While it may seem impossible to completely cut out unhealthy foods from your diet, it might be a good idea to cut back. You can start cutting back on unhealthy foods by packing meals in your truck. That way, the next time you get hungry on the road, you can eat a much healthier meal instead of eating greasy, high-calorie fast food. Another way you can start cutting back on unhealthy foods is to make a list of unhealthy items you eat every day and start slowly replacing them with a healthier option. For example, if you drink soda 3 times a day, cut back to 2, then to 1, and then none. Stock up on healthy foods. To live a healthier lifestyle, you have to cut back on heavily processed foods. Unfortunately, a truck driver's diet heavily consists of processed foods. Stocking up on healthy groceries is one of the best ways you can improve your physical health. When grocery shopping before your trip, avoid frozen pre-made meals, sodas, fried foods, chips. Instead, look for whole grain, fruits, veggies, and healthy fats. Start exercising. Exercise is essential to a driver's overall physical and mental health. Truck drivers have to get creative to stay fit while on the road. Finding the time to exercise can be a challenge for truck drivers. Drivers spend up to 11 hours a day on the road. After working all day, exercising may seem like the last thing you want to do, but you'll thank yourself later. Exercising a few times a week will not only improve your physical health, but also mental health. Get a good night's rest. The right amount of sleep is crucial for a truck driver. Lack of sleep can make driving dangerous. A study shows that long-haul truck drivers obtain less sleep than the required amount of alertness on the job. Truckers need a good night's sleep to be fully alert and ready to take on the road the next morning. Truck drivers travel several hundred miles each day. To reach their destination on time, they'll have to prioritize sleep so they can be alert and ready to take on the day. Not only is sleep an important factor for job performance, but it's also important for lowering stress levels and improving your immune system. Now here are some ways to promote better sleep. Turn off electronics an hour before bed. Invest in a good mattress and pillow. Put up curtains in your truck cab. Avoid caffeine before bed. And exercise. This blog was brought to you by the Truckers Network at app.thetruckersnetwork.net.
For the latest in traffic, weather, and information, catch the Morning Grind weekdays right here on tncradio.live. And welcome into the second quarter of Clutch Time Sports. I'm Tom Kelly, and it's in this quarter where each week I give the guys something to opine. Let me say opine. And
opine.
And I do not give them any sense of what's coming, so they have to do this off the top of their head. So tonight we talk about uniformity. Or should I say, the classic all-time greatest and worst baseball uniforms.
Oh.
All right, let's get it over with. Go ahead, Ivan. Ivan, what's the greatest baseball uniform of all time?
The greatest baseball uniform of all time?
Yeah. Come on, just say it.
White Sox?
Really? You're going to go with the White Sox? You're gonna skip over the Yankees pinstripes and go with the White Sox.
Just messing with me. I just wanted to see if you. I was going to think of the 1920s White Sox. I just wanted to see what you'd say. No, I would never skip over the Yankees pinstripes. When you say pinstripes, you already know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Of course, and of course for you, Josh, number one uniform of all time, Dodger blue, right?
Oh yeah, for me to poop on, yes, of course.
Oh yeah. So, what is your favorite all time, there, Josh?
So, can I pick from any era? Any. Okay, so I like a lot of the throwback stuff. I'm not a huge fan of a lot of this new City Connect jerseys and uniforms that are coming out, and I'm sure that's probably part of the question that's coming up here. I'm going to give a little love to your old Houston Astros, the old orange, yellow, red, bright color, jersey scheme that they had in the 80s. It's really hard to go against the We Are Family Pirates back in the day with the caps that they used
with
to
the square
have.
caps. Oh my
Those
gosh,
caps were awesome.
Okay, well now wait. So let's stick for a second then with that Astros uniform.
Yes.
Have I ever told you that I know the guy who designed those uniforms?
Wow. Is he in the Hall of Fame yet?
Yeah, his uniform is.
Okay.
Yeah, and his name is Jack Amuni. How you doing tonight, Jack?
Pretty good.
Well, great to have you with us. Jack is a friend of mine, lives really just around the corner, literally. We go to church together. Jack, how old are you now?
85.
85, and he does 85 push-ups.
Oh, man. Yeah. It is an honor, sir. It is a true honor.
Thank you.
So
it's getting harder every day.
Jack, tell us the story. How did you end up coming up with that Astros uniform?
Graphic designer, and I do work for agencies. And McCann Erickson had the
You're breaking up just a little bit, Jack. Could you speak up just a little bit?
Okay, and McCann Erickson had the, and it was just like another job. they would call me for brochures or ads, and the guy called it to design the Astros uniform, and I said, "Sure, it's a job," and that's how it happened. He told me I had no restrictions. I think my two colors were blue, and what they were trying to do was get a uniform appeal to ladies. The team wasn't the.
I think we lost him.
I think we lost him. I want to hear that.
Yeah,
That's a great story.
Jack, I tell you what, I'm going to call you right back.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I should hang up. Yeah.
Go ahead and hang up. I'm going to call you right back. Let's try this again.
And while you're doing that, Josh and I will continue that discussion. I mean, Josh, that was the uniform from 1975 to 86, and it was unique and really awesome.
And by the way, that was not a planned response by me. So nice job there, Mr. Kelly. That
awesome.
was perfectly done.
Well, he knows your love for baseball.
I figured he knew that I would go there somewhere.
You wouldn't just bring up one specific uniform.
Can you hear me?
And
All right. Yeah, I think
Yes,
we can.
sir.
I think it's better now. So start again. So you were working for whom?
Like they had Coca-Cola, but they also had the Astros, and come up with uniform before that time, almost 50 years ago. You could go to Texas Art Supply, cut a bunch of stripes of paper out, and this is
So
most of my work is wants to change this, that, and they loved it.
well, good.
They loved it. The only change all my design centered and star in the center, and they asked if I could move it to the.
So you had to move.
Tom, we may need to get a taped version of
Yeah,
this story
we need
because
to,
unfortunately, where his cell signal is or wherever,
we just keep breaking up a little bit there.
Yeah, it's every other word, unfortunately. But
So-
I know there's a great story there.
Yeah. So what he was saying was, he laid all this out using paper that he got from Texas Art Supply, and that the change they had him make was he had the star right in the middle, and of course they moved it over to the left and oversized it just a bit. So
That's it.
Well,
and he had countless. There he is.
Because my name son was the general manager at that time, and I took the sample out for him to look at. Looked at me and he said, "What do you think?" And that is the easiest I did in my life.
wow. Well, Jack, I really appreciate you taking a few minutes to be with us tonight, and I wanted these guys to have a chance to meet you, and I've enjoyed. Let's see, Jack and I have known each other now for getting close to 30 years, 25, 30 years now, and have done a lot of good stuff together, and have really enjoyed getting to know him. And it's been a pleasure all these years to be able, when people say, "Oh, that." Now, guys, what's really funny, and Jack and I, Jack's got a great humor about all of this. Major League Baseball Network ran a special on the best and worst uniforms of all time. And the Astros uniform was listed as the 4th best of all time,
Wow.
I believe that.
and the
I believe that.
third worst of all time.
Yeah, that's it.
That's funny.
So it's always been a bit of a dichotomy there.
Uh-huh.
Tell the guy
Well,
Go ahead, Jack.
go ahead.
the new uniform did that working at night. So we're a uniform team.
Yep. All right. Well, Jack. We'll get a recording of this too, and play that out. Thank you so much, Jack. Appreciate you so much, and look forward to seeing you again on Sunday.
I really
All right. Thank you, Jack.
I was just reading here, Tom, that, part of the reason that they were looking at those bright colors is because this was part of the larger trend in the 1970s to stick out as color television sales surpassed black and white sales.
Right.
So that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Because it is a cool uniform. Of course, JB, being a baseball connoisseur, I knew he would, no, I can't just go with the San Francisco Giants. I got to tell you the whole history.
Well, I could pick a Giants uniform, but I'll be honest, the Giants uniforms are kind of just bleh. They're okay. They're not great, but I mean, if you're asking for iconic and best uniforms of all time, who cannot see Nolan Ryan in that jersey that Jack has created? I mean, that's
and J.R. Richard and Mike Scott, all these different pitchers.
Glenn Davis. For sure.
It seems like there are all these fireballers, and that they captured them in these uniforms.
And what's ironic is if you just Google Astros 80s uniforms, and they throw up ones that are for sale, it's none of those guys. It shows Biggio, it shows Bagwell, not even current guys. It just shows those two guys, which is just makes me laugh.
Well,
that's so funny,
iconic, and sorry we had a little sound issue there, but I think you got the general idea. And we'll get Jack back on in a different way and get the rest of that story, because it's a great story.
By the way, you two were too smooth on that. That was just smooth.
Well, it worked just right. So, hey, you never know what you're going to get out of Kelly's Corner, and you never know what you're going to get out of Trey Rings, and we'll talk about that in just a couple of minutes right here on TNC Radio Live, Clutch Time Sports. Stay tuned.
TNC Radio Live, your commercial driver navigation station.
Hi, I'm Dr. Christopher Cortman, and now for the Mental Health Minute. This is now the fourth video on emotions, and we talked about how emotions are key to everything you do. And we talked about how emotions come not from reality or events or situations, but from your perception of things. And in the last video, we talked about your investments. What matters to you is what creates emotion. Now I want to talk to you about how all emotions are statements about you. Do you ever go to a movie with somebody and you come out of the theater and you're all excited, or the other person's all excited about the movie, and the other person says, it was okay? Or a restaurant where, one person is thrilled and excited, what a great meal, and the other person is like, I never want to go back there again. Our emotions are statements about us, and we could react differently. That is, perceive things differently, even though we're perceiving the very same event. I tell a story about a homeless man in the street, and 4 people walk by this homeless person. And the first person looks over and looks away quickly and says to self, I didn't see anything. And the second person walks by and says, but for the grace of God go I. That could have been me in my drinking days. And the third person looks over and says, it's no good bums like that bring this country down. Here I am slaving every day to pay taxes for some lazy person to lie shamelessly in the street. And a fourth person walks by and says, oh, the poor soul. I wonder if there's something I could do. Walks over to the person, sees that the person's sleeping, puts a $20 bill in the pocket, and walks away praying and thinking positive thoughts for that person all day long. Well, what if I told you that the homeless person is an actor lying in the street? Those reactions, those feelings, those responses of the four people are statements about them. That's somebody lying in the street. How I think and feel, those are statements about me. In the final video on emotions, I want to talk about the meaning of our different emotions and the fact that they're a call to action.
Don't forget, you can hear all of our TNC Radio primetime shows again on our podcasts. Just go to tncradio.live/podcasts or search for tncradio.live wherever you listen to podcasts.
And, we'd like you to go out there and check us out on Instagram and Twitter. So please go in and put @ClutchTimeTNC. Give us your thoughts, see what you tell us about the show, and, ask us some questions. But it is the third quarter, and it's one of my favorite times of the day. Get to sit back, relax, give me a little hot cocoa, especially on this Bella Collin day. That's because in the last 4 years, we done won Trey Ring.
Well, I don't know how I follow that second quarter. I mean, good thing we got halftime because, you go reset yourself and get back here for quarter number 3. Well, we start Trey Rangs with perhaps a suggestion that Major League Baseball, maybe starts to issue a no-fly zone for their games, but not to humans, but to birds. And I know why Tom's laughing, because he probably knows about this story or stories. Last week, Arizona Diamondbacks pitcher channeled his inner Randy Johnson and accidentally killed a bird with a throw in his pregame warmups. Thankfully, it was not a Randy Johnson type fastball. So thank you, Zach Gallen, for that one. But then on Monday of this week, the Cleveland Guardians' Will Brennan followed suit when he accidentally killed a bird when he hit a ground ball in the middle of the second inning against the White Sox. And what I find horribly ironic is after the game, he took to what other social media outlet? Twitter! I'm talking about Twitter for birds. Irony. Anyway, Brennan apologized by saying, quote, I truly am sorry at PETA and bird enthusiasts. An unfortunate sacrifice, end quote. Well, no word yet from the bird community as they are still digesting this worst foul ball in 20 years. Foul is not with a U.
Yeah.
It's with
Was it a sacrifice fly?
double U.
Sacrifice fly?
If this didn't happen in real life, I don't know if I could make that stuff up. It just lays itself out there for me, makes it so easy. All right, rank number 2. We stay with baseball, but move to the college ranks, actually, for this one. While we've all seen a myriad of reasons why a player or coach may get tossed from a game, this one might be the first time I've ever seen or heard of this. So yesterday in the American Athletic Conference tournament game between East Carolina and South Florida, started off with a first inning ejection. After Jacob Starling hit a home run for East Carolina, his teammate and stud pitcher Josh Groves handed him a hot dog as he trotted back towards the dugout after he rounded the bases with his home run. And he ate it on the way back to the dugout. Well, for whatever reason, that didn't sit well with home plate umpire, who unceremoniously ejected Gross, who was the one that handed the hot dog out. I don't know. Maybe he didn't like the fact that he didn't bring enough to share, or I don't know what could have possibly been the reason. There is no explanation yet from that umpire But we're going to chat more about this story at the end of Trey Ranks. So just hold your horses on this one, Ivan, as we get back.
Stop laughing.
I know. We got birds and hot dogs. All right. Well, finally, with it, we end Trey Ranks with the story of the weekend. And if you're human at all and you play golf, then you understand exactly how big a deal this story is. So over the weekend at golf's second major of 2023, the PGA Championship, Michael Block, a club professional at Arroyo Trabuco Golf Club from right down here in our backyard, Mission Viejo, California, became an instant cult hero, but not only qualifying for the tournament, but also finishing in a tie for 15th place, which is not only one of the highest finishes for a club pro in decades, but also earns him an automatic invitation to next year's PGA Championship. And when I say club pro, I'm talking about somebody that does not play on the PGA Tour. I mean, he works at a golf course. He's the club pro there. This finish netted him $288,000 in prize money, which was over $200,000 more than any other check he had put in his pocket for any event that he had done. But his popularity has now earned him an exemption to next weekend's Charles Schwab event in Fort Worth, Texas. And perhaps the highlight of the weekend was not only getting paired with Rory McIlroy on Sunday, because that's just where he ended up in the line of finish on Saturday, but he dunked in a hole-in-one on the 15th hole, putting it straight in on the fly. He didn't even realize it till Rory basically said, yeah, you made it in, because everybody was yelling like they had lost their minds. So at 46 years old, he's the same birth year as me. He'll be celebrating a birthday later on in the year. This was the seventh major that Block had actually qualified for since 2007. But it's the first time he's ever made a cut in any major championship. So, sorry, Brooks Koepka. I know winning is paramount, but Michael Block, when you're in SoCal, brother, and you do something exactly like that, he's actually already been invited to the RBC Canadian Open as well, Mr. Anderson. That's right. He's becoming the next Happy Gilmore at this point, I think.
My advice to him is make sure his game is somewhat decent, because as fast as he's moving up, they don't have no problem. They don't no problem dropping you like a dead weight. Golf is golf. You're on top of the world one day, and you're in the sand trap on another day, for sure. And it's been interesting to follow this story over the last couple of days after, he finished up on Sunday. There have been people, he said, that has been offering him 5-figure dollar amounts for the 7-iron that he had that made the hole-in-one on that 15th hole on Sunday. And he actually got a text from Michael Jordan as well, congratulating him for his accomplishment. And he basically said, come play 36 holes with me anytime. I mean, that's if this doesn't get turned into a movie, yes,
I don't know for sure. I mean, it would be awesome. I mean, it would be a total movie script if he actually ends up winning the Charles Schwab Open there in Fort Worth this weekend. I mean, that would be one heck of a story. I mean, it already is one.
He shoots the eagle on the 15th hole, and he takes the 15th place. And sell your iron, man. If somebody if they want to give you high 6 figures for it or high 5 figures for it, do it. You got to milk it for as long as you can, because when the lights turn off, and they do turn off, you will be like Whoop'em Gangnam style.
Well, I mean, he's 46 years old. I mean, he's almost qualifying for the senior tour as it is. Exactly. So, I mean, just to do what he did is just 100% awesome. 100%
I'm happy for him. I am so happy for him. He earned more money in one day than he's probably made the last 3 years, 288. People probably want to put him on endorsement deals. Get out there and just milk it.
Right.
You have to, because
You have to.
it's going to end. But sorry, man, I'm still laughing at the baseball, the hot dog.
The hot dog. Okay, so let's get back to that story. We can talk about more of this in the fourth quarter too. So here's the question I want to ask both you and Tom, really. So we are more and more now, especially in baseball, seeing home run celebrations, either by teams, individuals. The Boston Red Sox put guys in a cart and drive them from the end of the dugout to the other after they come in from a home run. The Angels here put on a samurai cap, and there's so many different things that are happening. And now you're ejecting a player who's not even playing in the game for handing a hot dog to a teammate who's running back to the dugout. Have we kind of crossed the line now to where it's gotten to be no fun in sports anymore?
Well, JD, that's more. I blame that on college. I like the way they're celebrating in the majors right now at home plate, because they do it in the end zone in football. They do it after a wonderful alley-oop or a dunk in basketball. So let the guys celebrate. That's part of the game. Getting one over your opponent is a part of the game.
Sports are fun, right?
Mr. Kelly.
I think it all got ruined when the NFL told everybody you can't celebrate after a touchdown.
Right.
That's where it went off. Now they can do choreographed stuff that I think has to be pre-approved or whatever.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Yeah, and taking five guys and you put one up front, and then you do two, and then you got a guy in the back who's pretending like he's rowing a boat. What?
That's well that one.
Yeah,
no.
What? Come on, guys. Just celebrate. Just do it.
Well, and
It's
what I
fun.
find interesting too, though, is that it's gotten to the point where it's hard to decipher what is having fun and what is showing up an opponent to, because it feels like athletes today are a lot more, I don't know, triggered, I guess is probably the politically correct word these days. When things happen, like I go back to the Giants and Dodgers rivalry when Madison Bumgarner threw a pitch to Max Muncy, who hit it into the ocean. And Muncy was staring at it, trotting over to first, and Bumgarner yells at him like, "Get moving, do your trot, get going." And they start yelling at each other. Max Muncy says, "Why don't you go get the ball out of the ocean?"
Yeah,
And
I would have said it too.
It's like, let him go. Let's play. Let's have some fun. That's what sports is competitive, and sometimes it spills out into celebrations and yelling, and I mean,
Thank you.
everybody's just so sensitive. It just drives me nuts.
Well, and especially,
Go ahead.
we take these guys, and from a very young age, we tell them, hit hard, go.
Right.
Oh, now you're celebrating? Okay, well, don't offend anybody. Don't offend anybody. And then we're shocked. We're shocked when they do something that, offends the other team. Why?
Well, and what's funny is that if we want to really bring this full circle, Will Brennan, who hit the bird on Monday, hit a home run in the game last night. And as he's trotting around second, going to third, he does the double-thumbed bird wave as he's trotting around the bases in honor of the bird. So I'm sure somebody probably got offended with that, too. And with that, let's take a break and come back for the fourth quarter right here on Clutch Time Sports.
Building Strong Minds with Dr. Christopher Cortman every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. As a professional driver, you are always being told about the importance of physical fitness, your health. But But what about mental fitness? On the show each week, we take on a new topic, from loneliness to the power of gratitude to how to build strong relationships, all from the perspective of a driver's life. It's every Monday on TNC Radio Live at 7 p.m. Eastern. It's Building Strong Minds.
6 safety tips for truck driving in hot weather. Driving in the heat can create dangerous situations for truck drivers. Drivers need to take specific precautions before hitting the road in extreme heat. When there's an incoming heat wave, drivers need to be aware of how to safely drive in these weather conditions. Follow the Truckers Network's 6 safety tips for truck driving in hot weather. Every truck driver needs to complete a pre-trip inspection before driving, especially in hot weather. Check your tires. Heat can have a huge effect on your tires. As the temperature increases, so does the air pressure in your tires. During the hottest months of the year, it's important to frequently check your tire pressure. Frequently checking your tires can save you from a blowout. To get an accurate measurement, wait for your tires to cool down before checking the pressure. The heat and friction from the road causes your tires to warm up, which will cause a rise in tire pressure. Also, don't be afraid to take a break every couple of hours to let your tires cool down. Protect your engine. Not only should you protect yourself from the heat, but you should also protect your engine. One way to keep your engine from overheating is to frequently check the engine oil. The oil keeps the engine cool and keeps the parts running smoothly. Engine coolant is just as important as engine oil. Coolant helps prevent the engine from overheating in extremely hot temperatures. Keep an eye on the coolant temperature gauge while driving. If the gauge goes above the safe temperature, pull over and see what's going on. Failing to look at the situation could lead to engine failure. Also, make sure to check for leaks in the hoses. A cracked hose can lead to engine failure. Check your brakes. Cold and hot weather affect your semi-truck's brakes. When you brake, you create a significant amount of friction, and your brakes become extremely hot. When you add in hot weather, your brakes have an even higher chance of failing. To avoid your brakes from failing, brake gradually to decrease the amount of heat. Also, regularly check your brake pads to ensure they're working properly. Tips to protect yourself from the hot weather. It's just as important to protect yourself during extremely hot weather. Follow these tips to keep yourself cool and safe. Stock up on water. As the temperature increases, you need to increase your water intake. Make sure to always have water in your truck. You never know when you might get stuck in traffic or break down on the side of the road. Wear sunscreen. Many truck drivers forget this step. Even when you're in your truck, you're still exposed to the harmful UVA rays. Make sure to put sunscreen on before hitting the road. Wear light-colored clothes. Light-colored clothing reflects light, and dark-colored clothing absorbs it. Wearing light-colored, loose-fitting clothes helps you stay cooler and more comfortable.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems. For example,
diesel fuel cetane levels.
The cetane rating in diesel fuel is 42 to 45. Most diesel engines operate more efficiently with a cetane rating of 48 to 50. One treatment of Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme will raise your cetane 7 points, increase fuel economy, and improve cold starts.
Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme is available nationwide at truck stops, fine farm and auto stores, and online at hotshotsecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
It's left to go here in this fourth quarter, but Ivan, let's get back to this discussion we were ending the third quarter with, as we ended up with Trey Rangs talking about sports taking the fun out of things after that Carolina pitcher got tossed out of the game for handing his teammate a hot dog after he was coming back to the dugout after hitting a home run. I know you had more that you wanted to add to this, but you know what's crazy too is that how many pitchers do you see show up hitters after they strike them out and do some sort of dance or flip up in the air or, you know, with their hands or do something demonstrable? So I just don't understand all of this PC stuff anymore with the celebrations and everything.
JB, can you imagine the Wizard of Oz getting? I mean, think about what he did when he got
doing backflips out of the infield.
Yeah. I mean, come on, that added to the game. What did Ricky Henderson do when he stole the base on your butt? I mean, come on. I'm tired of this. This is too PG for me. It's way too PG, and trying to script things and just let it come natural. You dance. I mean, can you imagine what they would do to Deion Sanders today as he danced into the end zone?
Yeah, doing his high knees.
Yeah.
Or Billy White Shoes Johnson with his with his dance, back in the end zone in the 70s and 80s. Yeah, no kidding.
It's fun. It's part of the game, and you're going to get showed up too. I mean, if you get an interception or whatever the situation, whatever the sport is, it all, what goes around comes around. But we know it's all part of the game, and we enjoy it.
Right. Now, look, I mean, I know you're as big as NBA guy as anybody, but if you're going to throw down a dunk though, and the guy that you just dunked on is on his back, and you're standing over him and pointing him in the face, you do it quick and then get out of there. I don't know that I would go too far on that kind of thing because you're in a really prone position, but come on. I mean, I've just done something spectacular. Of course I'm going to celebrate it.
Do you remember, I can't remember what year it was, but today it's one of the all-time greatest alley-oop dunks for Lob City. Chris Paul to DeAndre Jordan. Do you remember that dunk?
Well, there were several of them, but yeah,
this one's where he threw it up, and DeAndre Jordan took off about, I would say, 1.5 feet from the free throw line and slammed it on a guy. And he just looked down at the guy. I mean, everybody was like, "Oh my gosh!" It was such a nasty dunk. It was just gorgeous.
Or Vince Carter in the Olympics, they're just Blake Griffin had several that were poster dunks. I think Chris Dudley was at the end of one of those.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean but that's what I think is what's important too, is that those are things we still talk about. So if you don't have the feats that come with the reactions that come after them,
yes,
are we even talking about them?
Well, no, we're not, because remember in our time, JB, if you were the guy on defense catching that, trying to defend that wide receiver, you're like, be careful, man. You're going to get posterized. It was that pitcher that he got over you, or if you were that pitcher on the mound and you're like, hey, you better not put it in the hot spot, because if you put it in the right spot, he's going yard on you and you're going to get posterized. I mean, that's part of it. And you love to see the poster of that guy like, dang, he took you.
I mean, you throw at a guy's head, I can get upset about that. I understand the safety of that. But if you're throwing inside and hit a guy on the thigh to back him up off the plate, a guy should not be pointing his bat at you, being upset about that. That's part of the game.
That's part of the game.
Take your hit by pitch and go to first base and get off my lawn.
No head hunting. But if you're going to crowd the plate, I'm going to sway. Yeah, listen, I played baseball. And if you're crowding that plate, that pitcher is going to back you up off the plate. That's just the way it is.
Yep.
That's part of the game.
Let's put the fun back in sports like we do with this sports talk show. But yes, let's get out of here, Mr. Kelly.
I just want to point out, did you see Nolan Arenado got thrown out of a game yesterday?
He did.
Yeah. Did you see what for?
I don't remember what it was for.
Yeah, he looked at the umpire funny.
Come on.
Yeah.
Can you grow a pair, please?
And with that,